Hey guys, there were, and you know the scariest part about this is you look out your front door, you see people there who have on masks carrying guns. You don't want to open your door, right? But they have your son, and that's how they force their way in. That's what happened, and that's what has police looking for these individuals. It happened, as you said, around 12:30 in the Hunting Park section of the city. Family told police that they answered that knock on the door, and that's when they found those two men. They were wearing masks, they had guns, but they also had their 23-year-old son, keeping him as a hostage to force their way into the house. As they entered, the suspects began shouting, "Where's the money?" And one of the gunmen took the son upstairs. The family told police they could hear him being beaten. The whole situation was made worse by the presence of those very young children in the house and the fact that police believe the suspects, they may actually have known in advance that there was cash in the house.
It's a very dangerous home invasion robbery, wearing masks. They both had guns. They went in asking, "Where is the money?" The father had $700 on him, so maybe they were aware that there was some money inside the property. But 3 of the children are very young, 2 months old, 1 year old, and the oldest child is only 6 years old. Luckily, they are all okay.
Now, the armed suspects then ran out of the house. The son then chased them. He later returned shortly thereafter with minor injuries, bleeding from the head. The police guys, they don't have a lot to go on. They're hoping that they will find surveillance cameras. Actually, they have found surveillance cameras in the area, but they are now going over the video, hoping that it shows something. They don't even really have a great description so far. People in masks wearing dark clothes. So they hope with surveillance video, plus whatever the son may have seen when he chased them down, they can help get these guys off the street.
Thanks to Bill Anderson for that report. I think I had my mic off earlier. Introduce myself again. It's Paul Ruppel. I'm here with Fox 29 News Now today. Hope your day is off to a fantastic start. We took a quick look at weather earlier. Let's do that again real quick. Right now, 78 degrees on the Benjamin Franklin Parkway, looking down to the Philadelphia Museum of Art. Dew point is 70, so still a little sticky, but not as bad as it was before those rain showers came through last night and yesterday afternoon. Winds out of the east at 5 miles per hour, so there is a little bit of a breeze out there. That was Bill Anderson reporting on the Hunting Park home invasion robbery that occurred overnight. Let's get you out to Sabrina Kiriakos. This is something that you heard this morning on Good Day Philadelphia before you headed out to work. If you use SEPTA and have a key card, you may not be able to use it this morning. Our Sabrina has more details on why.
The very last day was yesterday for those early adopters who got it 3 years ago when SEPTA first rolled this out. And today, of course, is now the first day of August. So the expiration date was actually July of 2019, which came and went yesterday. So actually, Greg, come over here because I want to show you. We actually have some workers out here at 69th Street Station. You can see the back of her vest. It says, SEPTA Key, ask me. So she is the one who is here helping folks out if they have some trouble with their key cards. Although, with about 40,000 people whose cards expired yesterday, we haven't seen too much of a jam up here at 69th Street Station. Let's go to video, though, because we want to show you exactly what to look for if you are still heading out the door to take public transportation. So right on the front of your card, it's going to say the expiration date, and if it looks anything like this card, it'll say 07/19. That means that you have to get a brand new card. You can do that at any SEPTA kiosk. You can also do it at any of their 9 sales locations throughout the area. But after that, after you buy the card, you're actually going to have to take a second step to get all your funds onto the new card. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But this morning we did run into a few people who had to get the new card once they realized that theirs was expired, and they really were not too happy about it. Here's Tariq. Listen.
It's a big inconvenience, especially since I thought the key card would be good indefinitely, so now they're making me buy another key card. You know what I mean? And I have to transfer the funds. I was just going over the email, and the email said that, you know, if you're not able to do it at the, the SEPTA Customer Service Center, then it can take up to 2 days to fix. I saw my card expire yesterday, and I was actually just on the bus. I forgot about it, And I had to, ask the guy to do me a favor and let me ride today.
Oh, so that's how you realized that it was expired, because it wasn't working?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then I remembered about the email that I got. And apparently this is the only machine working. So I don't know how I'm going to get through this part. And I need to, get to work soon.
So he managed to get to work on time that day. So once you buy that new card, you got to go to SEPTAKey.com, or you have to call SEPTA's customer service line that they set up specifically for this issue. You then have to register your card. Then you can transfer any unused travel wallet funds onto that new card so that you don't lose any cash. But you have to register within the next 30 days if you want to get your $5 back that you're going to have to spend buying that brand new card. So really quick, let's bring it back out here. And we talked about the kiosk. You heard Tariq mention it when we talked to him earlier. Listen, we have about 4 kiosks here, but they're down to about 2 that are only able to be used. So if you are going to need a new card, leave a couple of extra minutes to stand in this line. Guys, back to you.
Thank you to Sabina Kriakos for that report and the helpful information on how to address the problem if your key card did expire. I have to check mine, actually. All right, let's get to a little bit of national news here. It's not easy being the front runner. That's the big takeaway from last night's Democratic debate in Detroit, which aired on CNN. Fox's Doug Luzader has the story this morning from Washington, D.C.
Another 3-hour debate. Good morning, guys. Yeah, former Vice President Joe Biden, who is, of course, the Democratic frontrunner, took attacks from all sides last night.
Go easy on me, kid.
Go easy on me, kid, Joe Biden told his closest competitor on the stage, Kamala Harris. But it didn't quite work out that way.
Senator Biden, your plan will keep and allow insurance companies to remain with status quo, doing business as usual. And that's going to be about jacking up copays, jacking up deductibles.
But Harris, in turn, found herself a target over her health care plan. And Hawaii Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard zeroed in on what could also prove to be a vulnerability for Harris, her record as a prosecutor.
She put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana.
But it kept coming back to Biden, who tried to be more aggressive after what was widely seen as an uneven performance during the last debate.
And I don't know what math you do in New York. I don't know what math you do in California, but I tell you, that's a lot of money. And there will be a deductible. The deductible will be out of your paycheck because that's what will be required.
The fire, though, kept coming.
Mr. Vice President, there's a saying in my community, you're dipping into the Kool-Aid and you don't even know the flavor.
And as much as this may have been about trying to knock off a top-tier candidate, for those near the bottom, it's about hanging on for the next debate.
Please go to KirstenGillibrand.com so I can make the next debate stage.
We may hear a lot of appeals like that in the days and weeks ahead, because most of those Democratic candidates that we've seen over the past 2 nights have not yet qualified for that next debate.
Right. At this point, it'll only be 7, right?
Well, we don't know. I mean, it really depends on how many they get that reach the 2% threshold in polling and reach the number of donors that you need to show that you have a lot of grassroots support. So my understanding is we don't know yet whether it's going to be over 2 nights or just 1 night.
Do they have till September? Was it the next one September 12th? We have a 6-week reprieve here?
Yeah, it's September 12th and 13th if it's a 2-night debate.
Okay. Thanks, Doug.
Thank you to Fox's Doug Luzader for that report. In business news, parents beware, 2 popular baby sleepers are being recalled, and the payout falls short in what's believed to be the largest ever data breach settlement in U.S. history. Fox Business Network's Tracy Carrasco has more in today's Morning Business Outlook.
Stocks slid following the Federal Reserve's interest rate cut and signaled caution on future rate cuts. That caused a major sell-off, the Dow dropping 333 points. More bad news for the victims of the Equifax security breach. Regulators say since announcing a $700 million deal to pay those who had their private information stolen back in 2017, More than 4 million people have come forward looking for a piece of the settlement, according to the FTC. The original promised payment of $125 a victim is falling to a little more than $6. Fears over infant deaths leading to a recall of select Disney and Eddie Bauer baby sleepers. Recalled products were sold from November 2014 through February 2017 at Kmart, Target, and TJ Maxx. Durrell Juvenile Group makes both sleepers and is warning parents to stop using them immediately. They'll be offering a $60 voucher to those who might have this sleeper. For more, log on to foxbusiness.com. In New York, I'm Tracy Carrasco.
Thanks to Tracy for that report. Let's talk a little bit about our weather. We certainly had our share of storms the other night, last night that is, and yesterday afternoon. Delaware and Lehigh Valleys recovering from yesterday's storms. Strong winds, rain, and hail ripped through the area. This was seen in Newtown, Bucks County. The gusts were strong enough to rip down trees and power lines, and here's proof. This was the scene at the James Ramp Rec Center in Holmesburg. The bleachers at the Father Judge High School football field were tossed more than 100 feet onto the center of the field. That's not what we're looking at here. We're looking at some trees down across the area. See if we get to the scene at Father Judge there. There's some video of a tree actually in the process of falling from somebody's Nest doorbell ring camera. We did get some reaction from Holmesburg to the stands being blown over at Father Judge.
Ba-boom! And that tree went down. You heard just like a thud, and it went down.
I couldn't believe it at first. It's just blocked off now. Nobody can come down. Nobody can go up.
There you see the bleachers. Sadly, I believe our Chris O'Connell was reporting that those were just recently installed. Looks like they were blown onto the field. Hopefully did not damage the field as well. Thankfully, no one was hurt in this incident or the others. And a little bit of cleanup to do today. Let's get you that promised look at your weather. All clear right now on Ultimate Doppler. Here's a loop of the last hour or so. No rain to speak of. Again, it's a gorgeous day out there right now. Get outside and enjoy it. Let's look at Ultimate Doppler. We'll go back a little bit further. It'll show you some of the rain pulling out of the area and off the shore over the last couple hours. We are drying out right now. Your temperatures right now, 81 in Philadelphia, 70, right around the 70, 80 line in upper 70s, low 80 line across the area. 79 in Wildwood, 80 in Atlantic City, 78 in Toms River, so not much cooler at the coast. Cool spot right now, Mount Pocono at 73. Your northeast temperatures, a little bit cooler to the north and west. 73 in Toronto, 78 in Cleveland, 72 in Pittsburgh across the Turnpike. Or at the other end of the Pennsylvania Turnpike, I should say. But some 80s along the coast. Looking at the national map, 84 in Miami, 85 in Tampa, so quite warm down there. Same for New Orleans, 85. Houston, 83. Dallas, 83. Phoenix, 85 already. A bit cooler out west, 61 in San Francisco, 64 in Portland. Your temperature change, it feels a little bit cooler than it did the same time yesterday in most places. bit warmer in Lancaster and Mount Pocono, but as much as 7 degrees cooler in Millville, 5 degrees cooler in Atlantic City. Slightly cooler start. Your wind speeds, looks like we're up to 8 miles per hour in Philly right now, 12 in Mount Pocono, calm in some other places like Millville and Dover, Delaware. Your winds right now coming out of the east or the north. Visibility really good as you see those blue skies out there. Satellite showing the clear skies. Here comes a look at your Fox Futurecast. Looks like there could be some pop-up showers today in parts of the area. Looks like a little more pronounced rain to our stays to our south. Let's look at that again. We'll get you to the 7-day forecast. Today, some sun, scattered storms, 88. The Phillies are playing the Giants in a day game today. The Phillies come into it a half game back in the wild card. San Francisco 2 games back in the wild card race. So plenty to play for there. The Phillies will be here throughout the weekend. Partly sunny PM storms on Friday, 85. So chances of scattered storms both days. Some pop-up storms on Saturday, 86 for a high. Calling this 777s, 7s on our forecast by the numbers. So we are still having the chance of storms all 3 days. Although the temperatures have subsided a little, we're out of our 4th heat wave of the year. Monday, we're sunny and hot, 90 for a high. Monday, sunny and warm, 87. Tuesday, a shower chance, 87. And heating up again Wednesday as we get back to 90. So we're kind of flirting with a heat wave here. We're in the mid to upper 80s, but we're only touching 90 twice in the 7-day. So see what happens. Get your weather forecast anytime on the go. Download the Fox 29 weather app. See the latest conditions. Futurecast radar, hourly forecasts, and more. Getting you a quick look at the stock market right now. The Dow Jones Industrial Average up almost a half percentage point, 121 points at the moment. The DJI is at 26,985, so just a little bit below 27,000, approaching 27,000. Let's get you to some more local news right now. Two men pretending to be pizza delivery guys forced their way into a woman's home holding a knife to her head. This is surveillance video of the suspects. Police say last week the woman answered her front door on the 1400 block of Diamond Street when a man asked if she ordered pizza. When she said no, police say he forced his way inside, pointing a knife at her head. She started screaming when she saw a second man. That's when a witness heard her screams, came out with a hockey stick, and scared the men off. The woman suffered a cut above her eye. Police believe the men drove off in a dark-colored Chevy Malibu with a sunroof and temporary registration in the rear window. Call police if you can help with this case. In Delaware County, a former student of Haverford College is arrested for threatening to kill his family and shoot up the college campus. Police say 20-year-old Frank Wang told someone about his thoughts and plans to commit the murders. Then on Friday, police say someone shared this information with Haverford Township Police, who then located Wang and searched his home in Wayne. No weapons were found, but they took a cell phone, a computer, and several flash drives. 5 days later, he was arrested. Students at the college said they were notified and arrest was made.
I think things were handled the way they needed to be handled and the way they could be handled.
It's scary, but honestly, it's something that people in my generation have to learn to live with. It's the world we were born into.
Wang is charged with terroristic threats. Starting today, medically assisted suicide is officially an option in New Jersey. Terminally ill adults can now choose to end their lives, but there are a lot of safeguards in place. They include 2 doctors' signatures signing off on the request, and patients must administer the drug themselves. Supporters say the law lets qualified patients decide to end their lives in a dignified manner. Opponents say the state should instead work to improve its healthcare system. In Delaware County, video shows a tractor trailer driving down the road and ramming right through a slew of power lines, bringing them down and sparking a fire. The driver went down that street despite a clear no truck sign. The incident knocked out power, shutting businesses down in East Lansdowne. This happened Friday on Penn Boulevard near Baltimore Avenue. Officials say a good portion of the town remained without power for the rest of the weekend. The owner of a local seafood restaurant says the outage caused him to close for 2.5 days, and he lost a lot of business.
We tried to get a generator hooked up, but because of the ampage that we use, because all the equipment, they couldn't hook it up. So we lost a lot of food.
It's unclear why the truck was driving down the restricted road, but luckily no one was hurt. Wild video there. Wow, look at the spark on the top of the utility pole there. Wild video. A couple living in Queen Village claims construction of new condos next door damaged their home, forcing them to temporarily move out. The pair, who are professors at Drexel University, say they've struggled with multiple owners of the property next door. But on Tuesday, they say contractors were working in the lot when they felt their home shake.
Around 1:30 yesterday, the house lurches. We hear crumbling into the basement. We step out, and what can I say other than they've done catastrophic damage to the house?
Right now, the couple is living in a hotel paid for by the contractors, the general contractors. The company says it will pay for the repairs. Meanwhile, the city has placed a stop work order on the condos until the foundation is repaired. Northern Liberties will be packed Sunday for the 2nd Street Festival, but this morning the party is in Old City. We were previewing on Good Day Philadelphia this morning, which you can expect when you head to the festival. Here is that segment from Good Day Philadelphia this morning.
The 2nd Street Festival is going to be packed this Sunday in Northern Liberties. It is a supersized block party that people are loving. Alex has a preview out on the patio. Hey, Alex.
Well, Mike, here's the thing. It is a supersized block party, but it's multiple blocks. So it's a supersized, like 7-block party. It's great. And I've been going, I can't even tell you how many years since I came to Philly. Every time. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I'm so glad to meet Meredith, the woman behind the festival. You're the festival director?
Yeah, that's correct.
So you guys have been doing this for more than a decade now, since this will be the what year?
This is the 11th annual 2nd Street Festival.
And tell people, it's just block after block after block.
Yeah, there's 6 blocks full of art vendors, full of food, beer gardens, entertainment. We have so many performers. We have 3 stages, lots of activities going on all day, and it's free to attend.
And you said 6, but new this year, we're adding something?
Yeah, we're adding a block on Germantown, so it's really 7 because the Pod Park's part of the festival as well.
Oh, nice.
The brand new Pod Park.
Okay, and when you say beer gardens, there's 10 beer gardens. It's like so much of everything.
Yeah, there's so much food, there's so much diversity. There's food trucks, some of the favorites like Mom-Moms. We got Poi Dog, we got Nomad Pizza, we got some ice cream as well. Mr. Softy is going to be there, and Little Pop Shop.
Okay, well then let's enjoy some of this. You're talking about food, I'm ready to eat. All right, so let's start with Urban Village. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, doing well. Where are you guys located on the festival?
We're right by Germantown Ave in the piazza.
Okay, very nice. And what do you have today?
We have a house-made corned beef with beer mustard and a peach slaw on a Kaiser roll.
Ooh.
And then we're also going to be serving house-made summer sweet sausage with roasted peppers, a little caramelized onions, and some shishito peppers.
And what I love about it is there's restaurants all along, when it comes to the block party. But you can just take your food and just walk down and keep moving, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so that's what I'm going to do. Let's get something to drink there. How you doing?
How you doing?
You're also with Urban Village?
Yep.
Okay, so what kind of drinks do you have?
So we brought a couple IPAs in cans, but the beer we really want to talk about today is a beer we made special for the festival. And it's called 2nd Street Fest.
Oh, how creative. No, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right?
you got to stick with what works. And
Yeah.
people, they know the 2nd Street Festival.
Clear messaging.
Yes, yes.
So that beer right here, is it too early to drink or can you have some?
Oh, sure, why not?
All
Well,
right.
tell me what's in it first.
Sure. So this is our 2nd Street Fest beer. It's a crisp light Pilsner with a little bit of Citra and Mosaic hops. Gives it great flavor and aroma, but it is not an IPA. It's a crushable drink for a hot day.
Yeah, and it's nice and light.
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
I appreciate.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you. Nice and light. All right. Moving on. Standard Tap.
Hello, how you doing?
Doing well. You guys were cooking, and the place just smelled so good. You know you're cooking something good when outside starts to smell.
Yeah, well, we're definitely doing an outside thing with the 2nd Street Festival there at Standard Tap on 2nd and Poplar. We're going to do a barbecue theme. So we'll have a wood-fired barbecue out there, and we'll be doing a vegetarian smoked tofu cubano.
That's this one here? With pesto?
Yeah, well, no, it's not a pesto. It's actually a mojo, a mustard mojo. So the mojo is kind of a classic part of it. So it's got oregano, cilantro, mustard, and it's got like a sweet and sour citrus aspect to it. So that's the smoked tofu. Then we also have a smoked lamb shoulder from Poconos Stryker Farms.
And that's what you were cooking here. That's what smells
Yeah,
good.
so it's a smoked lamb sandwich. And we have a really nice cucumber mint onion, and then a lemon yogurt, and a really pretty spicy habanero sauce that Chef Joel at Standard Tap has a really love of hot sauce. We make really wonderful habanero, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, so that's what's going to go on with the lamb sandwich.
Very nice. So really quickly to close out with the drink, because they're telling me I have to go, but I love watermelon, so I want to hear about it.
Yeah. So we're doing a watermelon gin punch.
Okay.
We're using a Japanese gin, Roku, which is really delicious, and we're using cucumber and mint infused gin.
Okay. And you stir it up, and
We
it'll
stir it
come out,
up,
it'll
and then
look
we're going to garnish it with some fresh cucumber, fresh watermelon, and mint.
Okay.
And it'll be a delicious drink that you can enjoy on that hot day.
nice and refreshing. And really quickly, because I know we have to go, we're going to close out. They're going to have jugglers here. Oh, we do? Oh, we have a lot of time.
We can juggle.
So we have a juggler here. There's going to be entertainment. And we're going to shimmy on over here because we have the belly dancers. I'm going to let the professionals do it. Yeah, because they're going here. And stilt walkers.
Oh,
So
yeah.
really,
I
any
didn't
kind of
notice
thing
the
you
stilt
could ever
walkers.
want when it comes to a party. Mike is loving you ladies, by the way. He's talking right here. He's loving this. So, Mike, that means you need to come to the 2nd Street Festival, and you can see these ladies perform.
Okay.
The shimmies.
It-
Yeah,
it's-
so
Thank you, Alex, and to all of our guests giving a update on the 2nd Street Festival that occurs this weekend in Northern Liberties. They brought their a sample of the event to Philadelphia, to Old City this morning. Let's get to the floor of the Senate, where Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut is speaking about the migrant crisis at the border. Let's listen in for a little bit to his remarks.
parts of Yemen. Vaccinations have been suspended for 13 million people, increasing the risk for things like measles and malaria. New medical supply and equipment procurement suspended. UNICEF has stopped their clean water and sanitation services for 8.4 million people, including 3 million kids. That means more cholera. And cholera is already on the rise. There are more cholera cases reported in the first half of this year than in all of 2018. 500,000 new...
To be clear, it does not sound like the senator is talking about the migrant crisis at the border. I believe he's talking about some UN issues and health issues in other parts of the world. Let's listen into his remarks for the moment.
Program won't be able to buy vouchers for 3 million people starting very soon. 60 more feeding centers will close in the coming weeks. The World Food Program has stopped providing nutrient bars to 2.6 million malnourished women and children, which will tip them now into the category of severely malnourished, just like this child is. The UN is going to have to stop providing fuel for hospital generators. 35,000 cancer patients are going to stop receiving treatment. I could go on and on and on, but why are we standing here? Why aren't we all pressing our friends, the Saudis, our allies, the Emiratis, to come up with this money? Because while we are all back enjoying our August recess, there are going to be millions of children in Yemen who will look like this, who don't look like this today. There will be hundreds of thousands who will either die or reach the brink of death. All because of a war that the United States has perpetuated and funding commitments that can't keep all of these people alive, that can't save all of these children's lives, but could save tens of thousands of lives if our friends, our allies, would simply do the right thing. I'm furious about this, Madam President, my colleagues, because I don't know what the Trump administration is getting for this bear hug that they have put around Saudi Arabia. After the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, we transferred them more nuclear technology. We sold them more weapons. And maybe the hope was that in exchange for that, they would do something about the humanitarian nightmare, but they're making it worse. They're getting everything from us, and then they're not even feeding the people on the ground in Yemen who are dying as we speak. The president said at a 2015 campaign rally in Alabama, I get along great with the Saudis. They buy apartments from me. They spend like $40 million, $50 million. Am I supposed to dislike them? I like them very much. A lobbying firm connected to the Saudi government paid $270,000 for the Trump International Hotel in D.C. from 2016 to 2017. In 2018, a 5-day visit from Saudi officials to the Trump International Hotel in New York City helped boost the hotel's quarterly revenue by 13%. Boy, I hope that this isn't the reason why the administration isn't pressing the Saudis harder on coming up with their funding commitment. But the president has been pretty clear that the Saudis send him and his family a lot of money. He's been open about that. And I hope that's not the reason for why we aren't forcing our partners to step up. But this is life or death time right now. And if the administration's not going to do it, then we have to do it. Members of Congress have to do it. And so I hope before my colleagues go home and enjoy some rest and relaxation over the month of August, that they get on the phone with their friends in the Saudi government, that they get on the phone with the Emirati government, they get on the phone with the Trump administration and tell them that it's time to pony up the money that they pledged. The United States is the #1 donor. We could do more, but the Saudis and the Emiratis have come through on a quarter of the money that they have promised, and the consequences of that continuing are absolutely nightmarish. So before we go home for our break, let's do something to make sure that a handful more of these kids are alive when we come back.
Madam President.
Again, that was Senator Chris Murphy speaking on the floor of the Senate. It appears he was speaking about the war in Yemen, the implications of that from the he was talking about aid to Saudi Arabia and our nation's relationship with Saudi Arabia and how that is affecting the war in Yemen. It looks like Senator Rand Paul is speaking now. Let's listen into his remarks.
Is fiscally irresponsible and has never been seen in our history. This may well be the most fiscally irresponsible thing we've done in the history of the United States. The federal government is currently spending nearly $2 million every minute. Don't let anybody fool you. This is a spending problem. The annual deficit this year will exceed $1.2 trillion. What is irresponsible is recklessly indenturing our children and our grandchildren. What is irresponsible is binding our kids to this massive burden of debt. What is irresponsible is a Congress that believes they are Santa Claus and that they can be everything to everyone and everything is free. At least Democrats are honest. Democrats don't care about deficits, and they'll tell that to your face. Democrats, in fact, are falling all over themselves to propose more than $50 trillion in new spending in addition to the $1 trillion annual deficits. They want to add $50 trillion in spending. But it's not just Democrats. Republicans are also guilty. At least the big government Republicans who will vote for this monstrous addition of debt. Many of the supporters of this debt deal ran around their states for years complaining that President Obama is spending too much and borrowing too much. And these same Republicans now, the whole disingenuous lot of them, will wiggle their way to the front of the trough, to the front of the spending trough, to vote for as much or more debt than President Obama ever added. Get this. All of those who said debt was bad under President Obama will today snuggle their way up, wiggle their way up to the spending trough, and they will do exactly what they condemned under President Obama. Shame. Shame on the politicians who campaign as conservatives but govern as big spenders. America, wake up. The two parties are often one. The two parties who ostensibly fight are in reality one party of big spenders, separated only by where they want to spend the money. The media reports a lack of compromise. The opposite is true. There is too much compromise, and the compromise is always more debt, more pork barrel spending, and more burden for our kids. But there is another path. There is another form of compromise. Instead of compromising to raise spending for guns and butter, we could compromise to hold the line on all spending. Just a mere 2% cut in spending would balance the budget over a 5-year period. 2 pennies out of the dollar. You'd get to spend 98% of what you spent last year and we'd balance the budget. But that's never enough because these people are not honest with you. They're not willing to hold the line. They want more, more, more. More spending, though, means more debt, and that's what we're getting. So what I offer today is a compromise. The right would have to deal with less military spending. They say, oh, we don't have enough. Perhaps the mission's too big for the budget. It isn't a lack of money. We spend more money on the military than the next 10 countries combined. We spend more money on the military than all of Europe spends. It isn't a lack of money. It's that the mission's too large. Why do we have troops in 50 of 55 African countries? Why are we involved in every civil war on the globe? We need to question what our mission is. The left would have to accept less welfare spending, or at least holding the line and getting 98% of what they spent last year on welfare. The right would have to spend...
All right, we're going to step away from Senator Rand Paul speaking on the floor of the Senate and get you out to, this is reported to be a armored car robbery, possible armored car robbery at 3535 Market Street at the PNC Bank. You can see the armored car in the foreground. We understand this occurred outside of a PNC Bank location. We're told there's at least one car with windows shot out. Suspect in a ski mask, all black and armed with an assault rifle, possibly driving a Chevy Trailblazer. Let's stay with the shot for a little bit. This is Skyfox over the scene of a possible armored car robbery. Again, you're watching Skyfox over the scene of what's reported to be an armored car robbery on the 3500 block of Market Street in University City section of Philadelphia. We're told shots were fired, possibly involving the robbery here. At least one car with the windows shot out. We're told a suspect in a ski mask wearing all black and armed with an assault rifle. That's the preliminary information into our newsroom. May have been possibly driving a Chevy Trailblazer. Heavy police presence there as they investigate this apparent armed car robbery at 3535 Market Street. We'll stay with this shot as we await any more information that might come in. Good morning, Paul Ruppel here with Fox 29 News Now. Taking you to a live shot from Skyfox. We're told this is an armored car robbery in the University City section of Philadelphia. This incident occurred in the area of 36th and Market Streets around 10 a.m. Police say the suspects drove off. We heard two different car descriptions. Right now we're hearing a maroon Dodge Durango possibly. The windows on the SUV were shot out during the robbery, we're told. Authorities have not yet said how much money, if any, was taken. Skyfox showing you the large police presence there outside the bank location. Understand this is possibly occurring outside of a PNC bank. A little tough to see the exact business there, but you can see the armored car is included in the roped off area with crime tape. Again, this is an armored car robbery in the University City of the section of Philadelphia. Skyfox over the scene. Looks like Skyfox is heading out, so thank you for joining us on Fox 29 News Now and for this breaking news. We'll get you the latest at fox29.com. Coming back to News Now, actually. Took our shot to Facebook for a little while there, so I was talking with our Facebook audience as we took the shot. Appreciate all of you joining us on News Now for this morning's show. Of course, we're with you good day, every day after good day, every weekday at 10 a.m. Try to get you out to some live events as they occur. Speaking of live events, it appears that the Department of Justice is about to hold a violent crime newser in the city of Baltimore. This, of course, comes on the heels of President Trump's remarks about the city, and Elijah Cummings, the representative of the Maryland 7th Congressional District, try to get you out to this event as soon as it starts. In the meantime, let's take another look at your weather forecast. Here's a look at Old City, Philadelphia from outside our studios at 4th and Market Streets. Still 81 in the city. Dew points dropped a little bit, so humidity is going down. It's only at 66. Winds out of the east at 8 miles per hour. Not much rain on Old Doppler, although I do see a little pop-up starting to come up out a little bit north of the Lehigh Valley there. So we could be getting our first look at a scattered storm for today, which we had in the forecast. Your current temperatures. Right now it's 81 in the city, 80 in most of South Jersey, 79 in Trenton, 78 Toms River. We're right around the 80 mark for much of the area, a little cooler in Mount Pocono at 73. Your national temperature, or East Coast, northeast temperatures, I should say. Mix of 70s and 80s. Nationally, 84 in Miami, 85 in Tampa, mid-80s along the Gulf Coast mostly. Some 70s across the heartland, 67 in Denver, 60s on the West Coast right now. Phoenix down to 85. It's been quite hot there lately, over 100 most days. Temperature change this hour from last, or 24 hours ago. A bit cooler across much of the area than the same time yesterday, except Mount Pocono, where it's a few ticks warmer. Same with Lancaster. Light winds, 8 miles per hour in Philly, as high as 12 in Mount Pocono, but calm in Dover, Delaware. And those winds coming mostly out of the east, and not mostly out of the east, a little bit out of the north in some areas, even out of the southeast in Millville. Your visibility, almost all 10s, 9 in Pottstown. Satellite, we've got clear skies for the most part. Your futurecast, we do have the chance of some pop-up scattered storms today. And another look at your 7-day forecast. Some sun, scattered storms, 88 today. Partly sunny, PM storms, 85 on Friday. Saturday pop-up storms, 86. Sunny and hot, 90 on Sunday. Sunny and warm, 87 on Monday. Shower chance, 87 on Tuesday. And heating up Wednesday at 90 degrees. Looks like Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has stepped up to the podium in the microphone in the U.S. Senate. Let's listen into his remarks right now.
Investing in education and health care, infrastructure, child care is how we give middle-class Americans greater security and give Americans struggling to get into the middle class a ladder up, something this government has done for decades and decades, but hasn't been doing very well when the sequester was in effect. The sequester hamstrung our ability to make investments in the middle class for 8 years. No longer, thank God. Not only does this agreement end the sequester, it includes a significant increase in support for domestic priorities. In fact, the budget deal increases domestic budget authority $10 billion more than defense. In the 3 years of Trump's presidency in a Republican Senate, Democrats have secured over $100 billion in increases for domestic programs. That means additional resources for the states to combat the opioid epidemic, support for VA hospitals caring for our veterans, cancer research and other critical medical research that has saved the lives of literally millions, climate and clean energy technology, reducing the burden of college debt, infrastructure and transportation improvements. So this $100 billion is not abstract. It means jobs, it means ladders up, and it means hope for the American people, who are often pushed around by forces much larger than themselves. And finally, this legislation lays the groundwork to avoid another government shutdown and will preserve the full faith and credit of the United States. As my colleagues know well, the House has already passed this legislation and recessed for the state work period. The President supports it. Reportedly, he's calling members to encourage them to vote yes. The final piece to this puzzle is the Senate's stamp of approval. I want to salute Senator Leahy, our ranking member, all the members of the Appropriations Committee, and all of those, bipartisan, who came up with this agreement. I urge my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to vote yes. Let's give our military, our middle class, a boost before the Senate adjourns today. I yield the floor.
Without objection, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Alexander.
All right, you were watching Senator Chuck Schumer, the minority leader from New York, speaking on the floor of the U.S. Senate. My understanding is that there's a potential vote today on the budget deal that the administration has reached with members of Congress. I want to thank you for joining us on Fox 29 News Now today. Got you out to a couple of live events. Some breaking news over in this in University City section of the city of Philadelphia. Armored car robbery there. We'll have more information for you about that on fox29.com as it comes in. And of course, full reports on the Fox 29 News at 5 and 6 and 10 and 11. Have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll be back with you tomorrow. And thanks again for joining us.